welcome to another episode of Can You Connect? And this is Mr.WalkThatWalk. And this episode is going to be going over the research I did about people who've been struggling with Alzheimer's and somebody with dementia as well. We have some information, not a bunch, because it's kind of different because you can't get somebody's personal experiences. So we got one person out of, but it's because their situation maybe wasn't genetic. But we're going to start off, before we get to him, we'll start off with the couple. So we're going to go over the couple's experience with it. His wife mentioned being sad because, she can't cure her husband. She wants him to be better, feel better, but this is something that's not curable. However, she often struggles with his emotions being up and down, so she kind of got him a emotional support animal, which has been helpful. There has been a times where he did leave the house. They had to get support with finding him. So those are certain things that can happen with people who do have Alzheimer's, due to them being concerned about where they're at and not knowing where they're at. So they'll leave to try to find out something that's familiar. So these are definitely certain things to be aware about. And there is a older man who suffered from vascular dementia. He reported a small vein being blocked due to a explosion while he was in the military that he went through, which flatlined him, and apparently he was out. That was it. But somebody brought him back to life with CPR. However, he was in a coma, and he was sent back to the U.S. And due to his veins becoming blocked, which increased, that messes with his memory at times, but is gradual and it's not as quick. So he feels lucky that he gets to have time with his family. However, he mentioned struggles with going out in the world and people not being patient with him, due to some of his struggles. And, having certain freedoms taken away. And working through his true emotions coming out, because oftentimes you're getting to a point where you're expressing all your true feelings and what you really feel. His wife was always had hope that he'll feel better and be better, and didn't want him to have it. So at the point, she was a bit in denial about his situation. However, he was very straightforward about it. He just wanted to know what he has so he could just deal with it, rather than be in the loop of not knowing and feeling like incomplete in a sense, because nothing's making sense. So he accepts what he has and deals with it as best as he can. And at times he mentioned being in an alternate reality. So he like goes to an alternate place, especially in the morning. He kind of struggles with that. You know, his wife will be trying to communicate with him, but he'll be like zoning out. He'll be gone. And then he'll be back and forth. He'll hear her and hear what she's saying, but he's not there. Sometimes she's able to actually check and see it. You know. He mentioned that it's more comfortable and relaxing being in an alternate reality. Because being in a reality, he has to think more and use his brain more and be present, which can be challenging. Because his wife would be sitting right next to him and he'll just be out of it sometimes. But he's been trying to work on being better for her. He's working on being present as much as he can be for her, so that they can have a better relationship. So he tries to shake off, when he's getting pulled back into the alternate reality, because it would be looking like he would really get stuck in it to the point where it looks like he's literally falling asleep, but he's not. He's fully awake, but he's just out of it in this alternate reality. So this was different. It was definitely pretty cool to hear his experience and hear what he goes through, because we don't really get people's experiences when they're having these type of struggles with somebody who has Alzheimer's or dementia or anything in that sort. So, and even with my own family who was dealing with Alzheimer's, my grandfather, he often would bring up my grandmother who passed before him, but he would often have lots of memories of her and have lots of thoughts, because I think he had a lot of regret on how he treated her. So he would often bring her up and talk about her and be reminded by her pretty often, like music, whatever it was really that. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, they're definitely almost like a kid in a sense. They want to go out, do things, enjoy being around the family, even if they don't really remember them. But in a sense, they remember the energy. They remember being treated right, even though they don't. Even though they have to ask multiple questions in a day, and it's just working on being patient with them and being kind and considerate. So so that they could be okay. Because the couple I went over, the guy with the Alzheimer's who's struggling really hard with his memory, he's had it for 20 years, 20 or 10 years, I believe. He's been dealing with it for a while and apparently doing pretty well with it. So I think that's because he's on the wife has him on a routine. The wife is showing him a lot of consistent love, being supportive towards him, showing up for him, allowing him to do things. He's in his house, still in his house. It's a familiar place. He hasn't been moved to a nursing home or cut off from his family. So due to those things, it seems like even though there's setbacks and he does things, there's a lot of positives on how well he's been able to maintain and be consistent with being somewhat present as he can be. So that was pretty interesting. It's all about giving our best for our family, especially if we have the time and resource to do that. Especially if that's your partner as well. So I feel like it's different when it's a partner and having them with you and having, him having that love and showing that love towards her as well. But that will definitely conclude this episode Our next person is going to be somebody who reports the news. HPTV CH63 World Broadcast News. So, reports on news, promotes technology and tests out technology, and I think he tries to also work on technology. So definitely check out his YouTube channel and content, and definitely support the person who does the intro and outro to my videos with the music, and the person who made my avatar, and myself. I'm a clinical social worker for the state of Maryland who does individual, families, and couple therapy. So, yeah, we could definitely check back in, and y'all definitely have a good rest of the day or a good rest of the night.